see two special grades fight
for the first time, like proper special grade
time.
sorcerers. Like this is gonna
Yeah.
be a big moment.
Yeah, and we could see Kenjaku's domain, which
Yeah.
could allude to his technique. And this is also fun because this is the first time that we've because what is it? These are two people's techniques that we have no idea what they do with either of them.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's probably gonna be like a technique explanation as well.
Mm-hmm.
The next chapter for either one of them, most likely just Yuki. Because like Yuki does the same thing that Todo does. Because of course Todo is taught by Yuki.
Oh, just like amplify him. Yeah, just amplify himself with
Well,
cursed energy.
Yeah, well, what is it? They just don't reveal their curse techniques. They don't pop it out as like the first thing that they do.
Mm-hmm. It's like honestly, it's almost as like a last resort.
Yeah, they treat it like a special weapon rather than popping it out at the first time and then explaining how it works so that they get an amp.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So-
it's very unique. We don't see people do that in this because they explain it so that they deal more damage.
So then I guess where would among the 4 special grades, where would you like rank Yuki currently? Where do you think where do you think she would be compared to the other 3? Because like of course Gojo's gonna be at the top. And
well, this is like logically speaking, she still technically is probably at the bottom when it comes to curse techniques. Maybe not anymore if she has like this much confidence in fighting against at least Geto's technique. But like it's just plain and simple that like Yuta beat Geto, and we know what Geto's technique is right now, which is very strong because it also has idle transfiguration technically currently.
Okay. So
So
then
like we don't know Yuki, so we just don't know how strong she is. She's designated as a special grade, but
how would you rank all the special grades? Of course Gojo at the top. Then who would you be your next picks?
who? Yuta.
Yuta's okay.
Yuta's easy.
Mm-hmm.
Like a man that can copy curse techniques and do them better than other people. And then after that, it is Geto and then Yuki, and then I don't know. Well, actually, if we're counting Kenjaku as well, then Kenjaku probably has to be a step above if he is willing to put Yuta down as like not being the next Gojo.
Okay.
He doesn't designate him as enough of a threat. Which I'd even be willing to say that curse spirit manipulation is probably a stronger technique than the copy curse technique. From how, I don't know, Kenjaku doesn't seem to be that sort of like, he hides what he does, but like he seems pretty confident in the fact that it's just like Yuta isn't gonna be the next Satoru Gojo. He's nowhere close, which gives me the reasoning to believe that Kenjaku could beat him.
So then, do you think though, if because Yuta doesn't really have like a fully competitive like mindset, do you think if he got a more competitive mindset, do you think you would put him back up higher above Kenjaku?
I will give you my answer in just 1 second. I need to go use the restroom.
Okay, so then I'm gonna pause the recording.
Yeah.
All right.
But you're gonna need to re-ask me the question once.
Okay. We're going. So okay.
We're
so
going again.
because you said if Kenjaku, you think he's above Yuta because he's not worried about him. My thing is, I don't think Yuta has a. I don't know if you agree with me. If he doesn't really have like a more competitive mindset about fighting and stuff. Yeah. Do you think if he developed a more competitive or maybe bloodthirsty mindset, do you think you would potentially put him back over Kenjaku or?
Currently, I don't. I just don't. That's an excellent question. Well, I think the big reason why he's not bloodthirsty is due to the fact that he knows that he's like he can be cocky to a certain degree, because he knows that he's like second best, second only to Satoru. But even if he developed Bloodthirst, like maybe he'd be even with Kenjaku. But currently, I feel like Kenjaku just understands curse energy and curse techniques a lot better than Yuta does, and no amount of like bloodthirstiness or like will to fight will take over that, will beat that.
Okay.
So yeah, because like he had Bloodthirst against Geto, and he won that. But as we kind of can tell, like the big moves that they both did, like Uzumaki isn't anything. Like maximum techniques are really good, they're really strong, but they're still like nothing. Like Uzumaki is, I'm just gonna say, like in terms of like special grades, it's weak. Like maybe it could take down, well, it can't even take down a first grade because what is it? The other guy that does New Shadow Style besides Miwa
was able to block it and like block it and shield 3 people
behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kusakabe.
So, Kusakabe.
Couldn't think of the name.
Kusakabe has a listen, like Kusakabe has a better chance than Miwa about fighting Choso.
You had to throw it in.
I will Midwa all the way. So yeah, we can talk about it more if we do a video about special grades where we can like come to a concise conclusion. Like we'll probably have to reread everything, but
yeah, get some resources coming in beforehand.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, because I was just thinking about that. I'm like, because if you're ranking that, I'm like, because also my thing is, I'm still, even though we haven't seen Kenjaku's or / Geto's domain, I would still personally put Yuta above him because we never got to see what his domain actually did.
Yeah,
so,
that's
per
true.
se, we haven't really seen him go full all out in a fight.
Yeah,
I think we kind of were getting there in Sendai.
I feel like, well, what is it? Sendai was honestly probably a really good example of Yuta trying somewhat of his hardest. Like, what is it? He wasn't able to land the domain expansion. But like, there was a video that explained it as well. How quickly he did the, what is it? How quickly it went from like him saying like I shouldn't be using reverse curse technique, I shouldn't show them, to immediately having to use it against a special grade curse spirit. And then like, here's my opinion so far right now when it comes to like Kenjaku's explanation of a special grade. What is it? I don't think Ishigori is equivalent to a special grade. I think that he's a supreme grade 1.
Okay, so kind of like about where like Naruto is.
Yeah. I think Uro is technically a special grade because like she can just reflect anything.
Yeah.
So like just imagine someone shooting a nuke at her, it's just like reflected.
Yeah.
But that's only in like the technical sense. That's like a Geto special grade. That's not like a
their technique is what makes them. It's not. I like the way thinking like kind of what it seems like you're going off. Tell me if I'm wrong, but like not really their cursed energy levels, but like a combination of that and their technique.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that way of thinking. I like that a lot more.
Yeah, because like what is it? I shouldn't say that Geto is weaker. Like what is it? The best example of like what the like mere explanation of a special grade needs to be is like the principal Yaga. That's what it is, not Gaku Ganji.
Gaku Ganji is the Kyoto
rock star. Yeah. But what is it? Because like Yaga was potentially gonna be promoted to a special grade.
When did they say? Sorry, I just want to know. Like, when did they say
it's
that?
Because they wanted to know how they could could create a cursed puppet that continuously regenerated curse energy and used it like Panda.
Oh, okay. So when he created Panda, they're like, oh, this guy's good. Okay, because yeah, that is, if you're going off Kenjaku's definition of a special grade, I would definitely put him in as a special grade then. Yeah. Well, not definitely, but up there.
Are you talking about Yaga?
Yeah.
Because like he can create an army. He could theoretically create an army of cursed puppets to take over a nation.
Because the only thing would be like the limitation of like how much his pool of cursed energy, which we're probably never going to get to know how much that was.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's just a Gon character.
Yeah.
But like that's like the lowest level. Like if we're gonna put it, because like then at that point I'm gonna call Yaga a special grade. Like what is it? Do you agree with that statement, or like what's your opinion on that?
I would like, if we're going off Kenjaku's classification, that he could take on a whole country. Yes, in theory he is a special grade, but
in practice he isn't.
Yeah,
he's like grade 1 at best. But like technicality wise, it's the whole Yuta like in JJK Zero situation. It's just like, listen, this guy doesn't know how to use.
That's why he's a special. Yeah.
But like his technique, Rika itself.
Rika is what made him a special grade originally.
Yeah.
That and probably, I mean, they probably didn't know at the time, but like his pool, like I always say, his bottomless well basically of cursed energy.
Of cursed energy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, because like that's what I was like. Because then where would you? I mean, did they ever? They never said where Yaga was, grade wise.
Grade wise, well, what is it? You'd have to assume grade 1.
Yeah. Do you think like special grade 1 or supreme grade 1 or just grade 1, like a high grade 1?
Bare grade 1, because I'm gonna put that in the same pool as Panda, because he trained Panda. And I could be wrong. Maybe he was like ranked something different. I need to see like a data book explaining that.
I do have one, but it's in Japanese.
Yeah, we need that to be translated, Viz.
Yeah, dude.
Even then, I don't know what the Yaga would be graded at, but like, I completely forgot the question that we're talking about. We've strayed so far from this chapter.
But it's fine.
Because
though.
this just
I think,
became a special grade talk. No, I love this, but my brain went, because I'm just looking at the panel like, good work, big brother, and I'm sitting here just like, what am I talking about?
I asked your ranking of where you think Yuki would be in the special grade, and then kind of like, oh, like what's your reason behind that, and then into this. But yeah, no.
So like, what is it? Out of all of the what we'll call official currently, this is excluding the potential of characters to be special grades, and I'm excluding Sukuna because Sukuna's kind of in his own different category because we haven't seen 20 Finger Sukuna. Yeah. We still know that he's ballin', but we don't know how hard.
Because we didn't see like even against like Maharaga, like a 15 Finger Sukuna did not go all out.
Yeah. So what is it? Out of the 6 technically, which is Gojo, Yuta, Kenjaku, Yuki, Geto, and Yaga. How I'm ranking them currently right now, and this is just off the top of my head, it goes Gojo, Kenjaku, Yuta, then it goes Geto, Yuki, Yaga.
Okay.
And Yuki is in that special category of like, listen, I just don't know what the hell's going on.
And that's fair, because that's about how I'm ranking them too, because like we haven't seen Yuki yet, so it's like we have like the one scene of her in Shibuya, and I'm like, that's where like the limbo area where it's like she can go up, she can go potentially down, but
yeah.
So that's the thing. Like we need to know if like it's like if it's Kenjaku, it's like ranking like Kenjaku ranking special grade. Like yeah, she's recognized by Jujutsu Society as a special grade, but like does Kenjaku think with his definition of a special grade, is she a special grade? Could she take on a country?
We could get that next chapter.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, are we gonna get that? Like with this, I don't know if it is a Shikigami, but this like dragonfly looking thing she's got with her, is that the reason she's so?
I'm gonna say that. What is it? Kenjaku's definition of it also goes with Jujutsu Society, because what is it? He is technically a higher up in Jujutsu Society.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
So like he probably had to get that definition from someone like that, or like maybe in his first or second life.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I think that's a perfect spot to end it off. You could.
Yeah.
Do you have any closing thoughts you want to add? Any predictions for next week?
Any predictions for, well, what is it? I have no predictions for either of these, for either of the chapters this week.
Okay.
Coming next week. And what is it? We need to explore this further and do more research of just like the special grade rankings and then also the potential special grades from what we have and like the semi special grades. So yeah, those are my final thoughts. What